Once a renowned digital marketing expert and entrepreneur said this amazing quote: "Don't be afraid to give away the farm because people will still need you to milk the cows." This quote captures the essence of his personal branding strategy, that is, generosity and trust. When this guy started his journey, many people in this industry were hesitant to share too much because they had the fear of competition. But he took a different approach. The approach was to give away valuable content for free, and that itself built his personal brand. The guy I'm talking about is none other than Neil Patel. Just like Neil Patel, we also need to create our personal brand in such a way that people truly knows who we are and what we are. In today's episode, we are going to talk just about that. Hello everyone, this is Aditya Mehta and you are listening to Personality Development Podcast, a dedicated shows that aims to provide values in your life so that you can develop yourself in both personal and professional lives. In today's episode, to guide us with personal branding on LinkedIn, we have a LinkedIn content creator who creates content related to personal branding. She is Siddhi Maheshwari. But hey, before we get started with the show, let me give a huge shout out to our sponsors of today's episode, and that is New Image Consulting, a dedicated organization which helps individuals and companies alike to build their personal brand and live the life to the fullest. So without any further delay now, let's get started with the episode. You hear to this amazing intro music while I'll get Siddhi Maheshwari on this podcast. Hello and welcome back to today's episode. As I've already mentioned, we are going to talk about creating personal brand on LinkedIn, and to guide us with that, we have Siddhi Maheshwari on today's episode. Hello Siddhi, how are you doing today?
Hi, thank you for having me. I'm doing fine.
Wonderful. So guys, let me tell you this one amazing thing. We are already good friends, but today we have mics in front of each other. So it's just amazing when I talk to a friend and I have mic in front of me. It's a totally different feeling. So Siddhi, first of all, thank you so much for being a part of this show. That's formally said. Now coming to a friendly note over here, if you can share more about yourself, because what I gave was sort of like a trailer of a movie about you,
Yeah.
but you can introduce yourself.
Yeah. Hi, thank you for having me, first of all. I'm so glad to be here. And as you said, we are already friends, so I'm glad that we are doing this officially as well. So, about me, I am a LinkedIn personal brand strategist. I help people build their personal brands on LinkedIn. Yeah. Apart from that, I am an engineer as well.
Wow, wow, that's really nice. I mean, you are, I would say, 150th person who has been an engineer, okay, but has
Yeah.
transitioned into something else. And I believe that's really something which I would like to ask you about, okay. But
Yeah.
before diving straight into the topic, of course, see, being an engineer, I mean, I have been an engineer as well, okay. I'm still an
Yeah.
engineer, by the way, okay. Being an engineer in engineering college, they don't teach about personal branding, communication skills, and a lot of things, okay.
Yeah.
It's not there, right?
Yeah.
So you being an engineer turned into a personal branding strategist on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
So interestingly, it started in college itself.
Okay.
So during the placement season, like my college was in UP, so a lot of people were not comfortable talking in English uh, to the interviewer or stuff like that. So we had this one club where we taught our classmates and even juniors to how to present themselves better. But that was just for the, just for the interview. But if we think about it, it is like kind of a personal branding as well. Like you, personal branding is all about presenting yourself or like a building a persona of you online. So we did teach other people, like other fellow classmates and juniors in our college, to present themselves better.
Wow, that's pretty interesting. So most of the students must be attending that seminar as well, right?
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
you
yeah.
were teaching them.
Yeah, so me and couple of us was.
Okay.
Were you trying to make a joke and
Yeah.
it out?
No, it's fine. It was a joke, but yeah, don't worry about it. I do make wrong jokes at the wrong time, but don't worry about it. So I'm sure like that must be fascinating for you being in an engineering college. You were teaching other classmates about building a personal brand. So was it on LinkedIn or was it just in college? How it was?
No, so back then it was just in college, and it was just so initially it was just a couple of my friends. So I helped them write their about section. So stuff like that. I have always been a writer first, so
Right.
I helped them write cover letters for the jobs or even the about section and stuff like that. And then for the HR rounds, you have these questions where they ask you stuff about yourself, and you have to differentiate yourself from others.
Right.
So that's when we got like that. That's when we got to know, okay, if you have the personal brand, then you can differentiate yourself easily and stuff like
Right.
that. But then that's how we started, like helping people to differentiate themselves.
Right. That's pretty amazing. So I have a follow-up question on that.
Yeah.
Okay, and that is you mentioned about differentiating yourself as a person, I would
Yeah.
say. So there must be many LinkedIn personal brand strategists out there as well. So how do you differentiate from them?
Yeah, so I always tell this to my clients that I am married to social media. Like I'm always on there, and most of the people, they shy away from doing the research. Like they are not interested in doing the research, or they don't want to get into it. They just want to, now with the chat GPT, they just want to like type some prompt and get some ideas. And me, like being on social media 24/7, I will get into it. I'll get into your niche, I'll follow your competitors, I'll stalk them even, and I'll do all the research that you don't have time for because you have to run your business.
Right.
So I think that's what differentiates me from my competitors.
Wow, that's pretty amazing. Okay, so audience, I'm pretty sure she's going to be my LinkedIn personal brand strategist from now on. But going ahead, over here, Siddhi, what you mentioned was that you are on social media 24/7. So that's
Yeah.
basically LinkedIn, right? Or
Uh,
any other brand, any other social media platform as well.
No, so I'm active on all the platforms to get ideas what is happening, because when you're building a personal brand, you have to be there where your client is at, or
Okay.
where your target audience is hanging out at. So if, let's say, if my clients are on Facebook, then I have to be on Facebook to see, okay, which groups are they hanging out in, what content they are watching, so that I can target them better.
Wow, that's pretty amazing, and I love the short and crisp answers which you're giving right now, because that really helps the audience to gain some amazing tips over here. And audience, I always say this in my every episode, that make sure to sit with a book and a pen, because these are some valuable insights and you are getting it for free on this podcast. So make sure to do that. Make sure to listen to this podcast intentionally, and that intention is to learn something new, right? So make sure to do that. Coming back to you, Siddhi.
Yeah.
Siddhi, you mentioned about various things, like you stalk the competitors of the business.
Yeah.
Okay. Now over here, what exactly you talk about? How do they make sure that that in what strategy you make after stalking them on each and every platform?
Yeah. So there's this one famous quote that you don't need to reinvent the wheel every time you go. So when you like stalk your competitors, you already know what is working, what is not working. So once I do that, I have the idea of what is already working, and then after having the conversations with the client, I get the unique factor that they have to them. So like you asked me what differentiates me, I ask these questions to my clients. And from those, I get the idea of, okay, this is already working and this is what they have new. So combine, boom, we have a personal brand.
Wow, that's pretty amazing. So basically, it's about copy, paste, and improvisation, is it? You improvise on the competitor's idea, and I mean, not improvise on the competitor's idea, you somehow make sure that you take a good things from them,
Yeah.
and you also mix that up with the differentiation point of your client, and
Yeah.
then you mix it up and improvise that as a beautiful personal brand that you create, right?
Yeah.
A strong personal brand, I would say.
Yeah.
Not beautiful, I believe that's a wrong word to say. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty amazing, and I love that idea. However, coming back to the LinkedIn personal brand strategy, but before that, I also want to ask you, as a person who is more active on LinkedIn. Like, I have been stalking you as well on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Okay, you have some amazing graphics over there, which is placed right at the top. Okay, so there is a profile picture of you, and then there is a background picture of you, which has amazing yellow color as
Yeah.
something which you um, have created as a brand for yourself, because I see a lot of yellows in your on your LinkedIn profile.
Yeah.
So what's that about? If you can tell me more about that,
Yeah.
and why yellow color specifically?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, that's the first thing that anybody sees when they come to your LinkedIn profile. So I always tell people to treat it as your sales page and the banner as your like a billboard. So like your one line pitch should be there. So for me, it's like helping you grow your personal brand or helping you build your authority. You know, something like that. So whatever you do in a one sentence pitch, that should be there. So once they are on your profile, in under 3 to 5 seconds, they should know, okay, what are you all about, so that they can make a decision if they want to scroll through and engage with your content and stuff like that.
Right.
And you asked about the color. So initially, yellow just started as something that I like yellow was one of my favorite colors, but it also defines like a happy or like a approachable kind of a personal brand. So that's what
Okay.
I want to be. Like I want to be approachable. Like if you have anything, if you have any question, I always tell it in my post as well that you can DM me, you can ask it in the comments. So I want to be the person who is approachable.
So that's wonderful, Siddhi. And you mentioned about 3 to 5 seconds. Are you sure it's 3 to 5 seconds?
Yeah, it is
Wow.
actually.
So that's pretty amazing, audience. I think she needs to design my LinkedIn profile page as well. I hope you can do that, Siddhi. Of course, I'm not going to
Yeah.
pay you. Just kidding. I will. I will. In your dreams. But yeah, coming back to the question over here, and that's really nice. Okay, you explain things really nice, and I didn't knew before that yellow is actually for approachable color. I mean, that's something new which I'm coming to know today. And is it something like you already knew about it, or it just came up and then you searched for it? How it was?
No. So I just used yellow because it was one of my favorite colors.
Okay.
And then people started recognizing me for that. So then
Okay.
I like turned it into my brand color eventually.
Wonderful. So first you used the color, and then you came up with the meaning that, and
Yeah.
so the people ask you, you can actually say it to them, is it?
Yeah.
Wonderful. Great. That's really amazing. Now, I have seen your profile, okay? And the thing is, you have really like a good amount of followers on LinkedIn as well, and I've seen your posts as well, okay?
Yeah.
You write posts on LinkedIn, like, it's very short, it's very crisp, and someone who is not fan of read, okay, not a fan of reading like me, I still want to read that entire post, okay, because there is some
Yeah.
value addition in that. Okay, and you mentioned that you were a writer before as well, before actually getting into personal branding strategy. So how did that happen? I mean, do you have any thought process for writing, or how is it?
Yeah, so as I was already speaking about it, the attention span is like getting lower and lower day
Of
by
course.
day.
Yes.
And even on LinkedIn, people are just scrolling through
Hmm.
as they do on any other
And
social
nowadays
media
they are
platform.
coming up with videos as well. LinkedIn is
Yeah.
pushing videos more.
Yeah, now LinkedIn is pushing video content as well. LinkedIn is trying to be all at once.
Yeah.
But still, the text content is something that many people still consume because again, they like LinkedIn. So as I was saying, you have to understand your audience. So LinkedIn people are consuming when they are traveling to work or
Right.
coming back from work, and stuff like that. So either they are in a public transport or in their car or something like that, and they are just scrolling through the LinkedIn. So they don't have a lot of time to read those long paragraphs or the essays that you write.
Right.
They are just like, if they find a hook, like the first line of your content or any post that you post should like just hook them in within like seconds so that they'll read your post. So I do keep that in mind that okay, this person is not going to be sitting at home and like, having like reading this while enjoying their coffee. That is not going to be their scenario.
Right.
So I want to just hook them when like in as
In a
much
shortest
less
span
amount,
of
yeah,
time.
as I
Right.
can, yeah.
Wonderful. That's pretty amazing. And how do you come up with these hooks?
Okay, so usually they are mostly from like a first person perspective, or like from my conversations with my clients or something like that. So if the hook has like an I or like an you in it, so if it's you, then I'm directly speaking to you, so you would be interested. If I'm talking about I, but there is something shocking there, so I quit my job at 25. Then you want to know, okay, why did she quit her job at 25?
Right.
Something like that. Or if I say you need to read this for something like that, okay, you are like interested, okay, why do I need to read this? Something like that.
So basically, hooks are like Big Boss on LinkedIn because everyone wants to know about other people.
Yeah.
It was a joke.
Yeah, but it is kind of true.
It is kind of true, right?
We love drama, and so the posts on LinkedIn which really do well are controversial, or let's say polarizing. Okay, that's like a better word. So polarizing. So if you have like a slightly controversial opinion, or if you can polarize the audience, the chances of that post going viral are like way more.
Wow. And you have understood that game very early. So that's
Yeah.
congratulations to you. And I'm definitely sure many people would be reaching out to you because of that, because you have these amazing strategies. Now, coming on to creating a LinkedIn personal brand, okay. Normally people don't know like how to create that brand with texts which they want to write, okay, or they want to create a video, okay, or something like that. So what would you suggest to the people out there who are trying to create their personal brand on LinkedIn? What is that first step which they should be doing to
Yeah.
create their personal brand on LinkedIn?
Okay. Yeah, so initially the first thing is just get on the LinkedIn and for 2 weeks just observe what other people are doing in your industry and then start commenting on their posts first of all. So see what they're talking about and try to add value there. So in the comments you don't have to write a whole thing, but you can just write like 2 to 3 sentences and just add, and that's how you can just get the initial visibility. So people like in your industry will see you. When you comment on somebody's post, LinkedIn like shows it, okay, this person is commented on your post. So that's how you get your initial visibility. You will like try, like you'll connect with some people, you'll already build some connections around.
Right.
So after the 2 weeks and after you've started writing and you are into the habit of logging onto LinkedIn, seeing people, engaging with them, then you will gain a little bit of confidence, and that's when you publish your first post.
Right.
So you will initially have like a little bit of boost rather than just posting, and then if nobody's there you will also get disheartened and leave. So initially it's better to just engage and try to build some connections and then take it from there.
Yeah, I get that. But the problem over here is because you're commenting there, and people are, of course, they will be going onto your profile as well. And you
Yeah.
have previously mentioned that they should come to know in about 3 to 5 seconds what
Yeah.
you are, who you are, etc., etc. So my question over here is that what should be the about me section then? Because about me section is definitely people write it very big because they have to mention all the things which they are doing.
Yeah.
So what should be that about me section, and how people can actually read it in 3 to 5 seconds?
Yeah. So so about me section can be a little longer. So the 3 to 5 second rule is for your headline and your banner.
Okay.
So like like a 2-line headline and the banner about that, and once they're interested they will get into your about section, and there also it depends on like the profession that you are in. So let's say if you are like an entrepreneur or like a service provider, then I would say like talk about your services there. So like you can start with the pain point of your like your audience, and then how you solve it, one of the results, and how they can reach out to you.
Right.
Just 4 steps, that would be more than enough. Then if you are a student or something like that, then you can talk about your skills, and there you can go into a little bit of your hobbies and things like that. But if you are a service provider, you don't need to talk about your hobbies and
Right.
things like that. So it depends on like a profile to profile, but something that will what you want them to do. So if you want a job, then keep that in mind. If you want to sell your service, then keep that in mind. So always, like, there are two things that are important when you are writing anything online: intention and obstacle.
Okay.
So
What was the second one?
obstacle.
Obstacle. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So first is intention, like why you are writing it, and the second is what is the obstacle that they are going to face. So like as you said, for me, let's say if I'm writing about building a personal brand on LinkedIn, but the obstacle can be why you. First obstacle, solve that in your about section. Just talk about it. So or anything like that. So even when you're writing the posts as well, keep these two things in mind, and then the writing becomes easier.
Wow, that's some amazing tips, and I'm definitely going to remember this. The two things, that is intention and obstacle.
Yeah.
Right. Audience, I believe these two are the really important things, and you should always keep that in mind. And I'm definitely going to keep that in mind because I do write a lot, but I never knew about these two things. And I think I have written about it, but I have never consciously thought about it. Okay. So I believe now onwards I'm going to intentionally think about it, and I think it will go well. And of course, if it goes well, I'm going to definitely connect with you. Regardless, I'm still connected to you anyways. But yeah, it's really great that you shared these two amazing points, and I believe that is going to be helpful for all the people out there. Now, we are almost on the verge of ending this episode, and it has been a wonderful episode. I would say, your points were pretty short and crisp, but it added a value like a 10-mark question. Although the answers were pretty short, but I'm definitely sure I can give 10 on 10 on that. Although you have written for just 4 marks, so I believe what I'm trying to tell you is that your answers were short, but it had a great value. So congratulations to that. Now, one last thing which I would like to ask is any message that you would like to give to all the people out there who wants to create their personal brand. What is that one thing, okay, which always makes sure that they won't quit working on their personal brand?
When you're building your personal brand, it's not like you're not going to see results in, let's say, the first 30 days or like first 90 days. You have to follow through and you have to trust the process. Like the right people will come along and they will follow you eventually. But the most people just quit in under 90 days. That's what I have seen. So if you can just push past that 90 days mark, then you're good to go. Like after that, then you know you will see people reaching out to you. You will like get better opportunities. Even like this opportunity that I got was because of my personal brand. So that it does work out. So yeah. So
That's wonderfully said. Also, people, I know one statistics as well. Only top 1% of the LinkedIn users are content creators. So when you switch on that content creating button, you are automatically in the top 1% of the LinkedIn users, right? So all you got to do is be consistent, stay out there, and comment on a post or two every day, and I believe you are good to go. With that being said, one last question, and I promise that would be the last question, and that is, if people wants to reach out to you, okay, how can they find you on the internet?
they can reach out to me on LinkedIn.
Wonderful. So her LinkedIn profile, I'm going to mention the link in the description. So you are just a click away from Siddhi Maheshwari. But hey, you always have to mention that you have listened to her on Personality Development Podcast so that you will get a priority reply. So make sure to do that. With that being said, this is Aditya Mehta along with Siddhi Maheshwari signing off from this episode. See you in the next one. Till then, peace out.